I am Florence Baker, and this is my story. I always felt fortunate to be raised in a Christian home in rural Manitoba. My parents regularly took me and my two siblings to church, where we learned about Jesus and the Bible. After I graduated from high school, I went to the University of Manitoba. There I met Gary, the love of my life, a pharmacy student and classmate. My marriage to Gary was very good, and we had a happy life with our two children. In 1973, Gary accepted a position in Edmonton as director of pharmacy at a hospital there. We were excited by the idea of our new life. Little did we know that our future would be different than expected. In less than a year after we moved, Gary was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He passed away 2 months later, just before his 34th birthday. My faith in God was affected. I questioned why God would allow this to happen to me and my two young children. But God did not give up on me. He brought other people in my life to share His love with me. A friend invited us to dinner one Sunday, and feeling we must reciprocate, I invited her back. As we sat eating, I told her about an intern who had stopped by Gary's room in the hospital to pray with Gary every morning before he started work. This young man had also invited us to his church. When I mentioned that, she told me that her plan was to go to that very church that evening and asked if I would like to go. The guest speaker there was sharing about her near-death experience. Her story touched me in so many ways. First of all, she almost died from a condition that also nearly took my own son's life when he was a baby. Some of the other details she mentioned as she spoke of this experience, even down to her description of the hospital rooms, really hit me. My husband had spent his last days in one of those exact rooms in that same hospital. Obviously, this lady did not pass away, and once she awoke, the surgeon asked her about her experience. At the mention of the surgeon's name, I realized it was the same man that had phoned me many months earlier to tell me that my husband's body was full of cancer and that he had 1 month to live. As she was apologizing for going overtime, the speaker explained she felt that someone needed to hear all those details. And through all these connections, I just felt like I knew God was speaking directly to me. Through her sharing her story, God was healing my broken heart and showing me that He was there all along. Following her speech, we sang the old song, "Oh, How I Love Jesus, Because He First Loved Me." That was when I asked Jesus to be my personal Savior. And later, as I drove past the Misericordia Hospital where I lost Gary, instead of tears, I burst into song, "Oh, How I Love Jesus." In Revelation 3:20, Jesus says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me." Jesus was knocking on my door, and I want everyone to know that Jesus is knocking on your door too. And that is why I am here today, to publicly declare my love for Jesus, for the joy He has brought to my life through baptism.